Hi, everyone. My name is Brooks Chambers, and I am the Senior Manager of Brand Strategy at Intercom.
And I'm Danny Ballinson. I'm a senior brand designer on the brand team.
And I would say you're my friend.
Sometimes.
So we are here as sort of delegates from Intercom Marketing and Intercom in general to talk to you about our new brand, because we made a new one with some friends and with lots and lots of help, and we made a new website for it to live in. And so we're going to go through it, and we wanted to do it in this format because it felt more us. So we just wanted to have a conversation about it, and we hope it's helpful for you, or at least maybe slightly entertaining. So anyway, let's get into it.
We have 2 jokes. We just have 2.
What are the... Okay, never mind. I will discover them with you. So before we jump into the work, we want to talk a little bit about the team that we made it with. This is not all of Intercom nor all of Intercom Marketing. This is the Intercom Brand Studio, who has been doing a lot of the background work and lead-in work to the brand that we are launching right now. We're an interdisciplinary team of designers, strategists, writers, illustrators, and producers, and we're just pleased as punch to be here with you today.
You'll see a few people's pictures pop up along the way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those little faces are going to come back. I'll be talking a little bit more at the beginning as we talk about the strategic background of the work, and then Danny's going to take the reins. This is a kind of a representation of our brand historically. Danny, can you speak to the cornucopia that we're seeing here?
Yeah, I mean, what you're seeing here is just a really vast visual expression of everything that Intercom is, well, not everything. A lot of work that Intercom has shipped over the past few years. We have a standard marketing brand, but then we also had a huge amount of freedom to make really individualized pieces that each felt like they could have a different brand identity for each piece. And the result of that was that all these pieces inherently felt like Intercom, but they didn't necessarily feel like each other. And so over time, that fractured kind of system created more of a problem than a benefit. And it's really obvious in our current marketing site, which is really just a mashup of 3 different types of brands all in one house. And there's no through line. There's really nothing holding it together. And we realized pretty quickly that we needed a
brand promise. We needed a North Star for what is it that we're saying? What is the value that we're bringing to our customers? Why are we worth money to you as a business? We believe that every interaction you have with Intercom and using our product should drive growth for your business by helping you build better relationships with your customers. That is like what we're about. That's what we're doing. And it was a little over a year ago that we developed this brand promise, and it has been really, really helpful for us having it in place, but we still haven't really baked it into everything that we do. And so a big part of this project was, okay, now that we have this North Star, how do we actually use it to navigate? And how does it start to bring cohesion to all those elements that Danny was talking about earlier? So the way we approached this was starting with a discovery phase where it was bringing together a bunch of customer insights, a bunch of market insights, a bunch of internal insights. We probably had brainstorms with probably 300 or 400 of our fellow employees across all of our offices. We spent a lot of time with our executive team, and then we drove toward brand attributes. So before we got to like the kind of creative and the actual visuals, like defining some elements of the personality that we just believed to be true, so that that could be an input to the creative process. And then we boiled all that down into a brief that we could all work against, that would define those requirements in a way that a creative team could look at and make important creative decisions. One big decision we made was to actually bring in some outside partners. We decided to work with Instrument up in Portland because we felt like outside perspective would be super valuable, especially as we're trying to bring together so many different elements. And we are so glad we did. That fresh perspective really proved useful for getting us to the fundamental brand concept. Like, what is this new visual system going to be about? What's its fundamental internal logic? And what's like a V1 brand guidelines that we can use to start kind of, it's almost like Danny and I were talking about it, like framing out a house, but then like it's our job as the brand team to put furniture in it and make it feel like it's ours and like actually live there and have people over for dinner, and I'm taking the metaphor too far. But then also we worked with Instrument to develop a component library for a new website. So moving to a component-based system instead of ad hoc, bespoke artisanal pages, so that we could really scale our marketing and once again, bring that cohesion and bring our brand promise to life.
And while that was all happening, we were shipping a ton of marketing work for Intercom. So having everything going on at once was really helpful too.
Yes.
And these are the brand guidelines. Honestly, like they set a lot of the foundation for the work that we did to build them out and figure out where they worked, figure out where they didn't work, figure out what we had to add, and figure out what we had to change. And then next slide, please. They also built out a lot of wireframes for the component system and helped us really think through like how can we best tell stories in which different ways and like what things can we use where, and like really helped us see the value in being able to swap different things from different pages to tell different stories.
Because we'd never worked with a component system before. And so they took some pages to different levels of detail, but like really giving us like the high level view of how this should work. And so I'm sorry, go ahead.
And then we brought it in-house.
Yeah.
Just to keep the house metaphor going.
Houses. And so we're going to go through kind of like the big kind of 4 pillars of the brand system that that Instrument delivered, and then we kind of collaborated on like bringing them to what they are now.
So the first thing we figured out was that teal is our new brand color. It's really energizing. It's really refreshing. It's really confident. It kind of makes you think about Thor's toothpaste.
Yeah, we call it electric mint, which is nice.
Additionally, it like makes you feel something. You're either gonna love it or you hate it, and we're cool with that. The next slide.
Well, a fun story that Danny, I don't know if we talked about this, but like when Instrument originally pitched this color, we kind of hedged a little bit and talked about maybe it's like has seasonality, maybe the pop color changes every now and then. But then we realized, like, I think the reason we felt we were saying that is just because we were nervous about using a color this opinionated. And once we realized that, we knew that was actually the right decision, which I think is cool and fun.
Definitely. And then this is our secondary color palette, which helps kind of break things up here and there. And you'll see later on how we use it throughout the website, but it allows us to like just have a lot more flexibility and speak to different parts of the Intercom brand for different people.
What's your favorite one?
Probably the yellow. No, the salmon.
I was going to say the salmon.
Mine. This is photography. This is a really exciting part of the brand because it's something we've never done before, but we wanted to celebrate our customers and the people who use the product. So we sent Kelly, Mika, and Jason out to photograph our customers, and they did a great job and came back with these portraits. And
yeah, these are real customers of ours, and they're lovely to behold. So the words that we use and how we use them are extremely important to the brand, and they're just as much a part of the brand as anything you look at. We are so lucky to have Chelsea Spratling as our senior creative writer, who drove us toward our first voice and tone guide. She worked very closely with Instrument on there as they developed the V1 of the guidelines to pull together a voice and tone guide that we could work with on our blog, on our content, when we're like giving talks, but obviously writing for our marketing site and all that stuff, with guidance toward syntax, sentence length, formality, and just overall our voice, like who are we as we speak, and our tone, like how that comes to life in different contexts. And we did that with this beautiful typeface,
which is graphic, which is great because it is structured enough to really let the messages shine, but also has a lot of different little quirks that are fun and just make it a really fun typeface to build out in a lot of different ways in a lot of applications. So this is illustration, which Olenka did, and she's in Poland right now, so she can't exactly go into the deep dive that we want her to go into, but it'll come.
It'll come. I think we've talked about, Danny and I very candidly have talked about doing another video kind of like this, but with Olenka when she's back, because that was she's been working on the illustration system for an extremely long time and has been fearlessly iterating and experimenting. And you would all just, I think, really enjoy hearing from her.
So these are the brand guidelines that Kyle's been working on and building out. honestly, it's been really incredible to start putting furniture in the house and seeing where it breaks and seeing what like really shines and seeing it all in one place. These are going to be great for the like intercom company to have, and also just really good for the brand studio to reference and be able to build the brand in the best way.
Yeah, they've evolved a ton. It's exciting. So before we get into the live, the website demo that Danny's going to walk us through, I wanted to share a few quick clips that Danny sort of aggressively captured in the office from people who worked on the project. There's just 4 of them very quickly, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, Danny.
What's your biggest takeaway from this work stream?
I think for me, it's been realizing it's a new starting point to really give fellow Intercom Reds the tools they need to be able to write in a clearer, more practical way.
Hey, Christine. What's your biggest takeaway from the rebrand?
My biggest takeaway is the power that a CMS is going to give us on the PMO side, being able to make changes quickly and better partner with brand.
Hey, Team Web. What's your main takeaway from the rebrand?
I think all the problems we solve in marketing team.
And we literally changed everything.
Oh.
Hey, Danny.
What's your biggest takeaway from the rebrand?
My biggest takeaway from the rebrand was how important it is to have outside context from an outside agency married with inside context of our team, the internal brand team.
Oh, that's
And it was a
lovely.
lot of work to put those two together, but I think it made a better brand.
There you go.
And we're back, and we're gonna go through a little demo of this new intercom.com. Dano, you ready?
The website.
Yay!
Ooh. So this is the new website, and it starts off with like a really strong message, has a really strong point of view, and it just is really able to sing through the color palette and and the typeface. Here we really wanted to lean into the color palette here and keep the homepage super clean, and let the secondary palette come through in the UI so that the customers can see that they can customize Intercom for them and have their own kind of system within the product. This is the support use case.
Yeah.
Basically, just like being able to tell different stories with different components has made a world of difference in how Intercom markets itself. This is a really strong example of also just working with the UI to connect the product shot to the copy next to it and really only show what the specific benefit of Intercom is, because it'd be really easy to show the whole product or maybe none of it at all. But this was a really good middle ground to tell the right story. And this is just another example of that and how we can like kind of simplify a really complex system without feeling dumb. And so this is our small medium business page. And this page is awesome because it gets to use this awesome typeface that Kyle Benson designed. It's a handwritten typeface that harkens back to the small business signage and maybe some bodegas and it has a very rich history, but it also has a decent amount of structure. So the stats really sing and it's very credible.
Yeah, some of the feedback we got in early interviews with customers was that actually handwriting the stats kind of undermined the credibility of the statistics. But we wanted to keep some of that personality there to give the relational meaning behind the numbers. And I think this is a great solution.
And so this is a great example of being able to tell a story with components in a way that allows illustration and text and the interaction to come together to do that. And that's something that we've never really had before. And honestly, like each web page before was very bespoke, and now being able to tell the same kind of bespoke story with a templatized system is going to make all the difference in how quickly we can iterate.
So bespoke. A good website.
Hey, thanks.
So this is by no means the end of the road. We have so much more to do. One of the big things that's next for us is just rolling out this brand internally, making sure everybody knows how to use it, which is a mountain of work that if any of you are thinking about doing a rebrand soon, you should think about rolling it out to your very large, very like amazing company. because it's a ton of work. But really excited, and I feel like I've learned a lot about how to bring a team along and share the work as it's developing. That's something I would do better next time for sure. I'm excited to really fill out this house with more furniture, so to speak. I think campaigns are going to be an interesting place for us to learn, like working on expressions of the brand that are a little bit further from our front door than the website is going to fill in a lot of the spaces between, I think. How about you, Dano? What do you think about?
Yeah, I mean, we learned a lot. Honestly, nobody on the brand team had ever done work like this before. We are already like pretty diverse in our skill sets, and then in our background and history also. We've all worked with brands, and we've all worked on building brands, but we've never worked on taking a brand that somebody else has built and like built it internally, like made it our own. So it was a really interesting process. I sometimes feel like you maybe can't own certain decisions, or you're not really sure why certain things look the way they do. But what we learned pretty hard and pretty fast was that you just have to make a ton of shit, and you have to try some stuff out, and you have to like really make the space your home. You have to break some stuff, you have to build some stuff, and just kind of see what fits and what feels good and what feels like Intercom.
Yeah, and what works for your customers, right? Like it's like, I feel like we've grown so much in how we understand the people that we're designing for, and like by cultivating genuine curiosity about them and their problems. And I think this system forces us to ask those questions on a daily basis in a way that our previous way of working really didn't. Let's talk about these people.
These are the amazing people who helped bring the website to life. I mean, honestly, like you look at a website and you just see like a few web pages, but it really took like maybe like 30 to 40 people just to get it online. These are the people who wrote copy, who wrote code, who helped run meetings, who helped keep things in check, who helped keep things in line and made sure everything looked consistent, that everybody was taken care of, that all the questions got answered, that all the work got done. And honestly, like it was a huge collaborative effort, and that's just the website.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's like the team is probably the part that I'll remember most about this. And that once again, our brand promise, not to cheese it up too much, but faster growth really does happen through better relationships, and that stands true for the people that we work with. And I've grown so much over the course of this project, it's insane. And I have the people on this slide and our team to thank for it. Well, Danny, we did it. We did a thing. I really hope that this is useful and interesting for anyone out there who might be working on something similar, or thinking about working on something similar, or just curious about how these things happen. By no means do we think this is an authoritative representation of how to do a brand, but we hope that our experience is helpful for you in some way. And you can reach out through Intercom social and the brand team. We also have our own social accounts if you want to reach out or follow along for stuff that we're working on. Dano, you want to sign us off?
Bingo, bango, rebrando.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.